Is it possible for any country to print more money to pay off its debts? Or printing more money to resolve the high unemployment rates and feed its hunger people? This question will be answered here on the stairs. This is not a silly question to be asked in public, but I think that you may get impressed to ask it for someone you may know. Inflation will be the short answer you would face while asking this question. What is inflation? Simply, what you have in your pocket will buy fewer products or services than yesterday. Inflation is defined as a general increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. To understand what does it mean, we have to know what is money. It may not be clear, but money has no real actual value. Money itself has no real value. It's not a valuable product, as you cannot use it in producing something. As an example, if you are in the desert and has nothing to eat, or you will not eat or drink money, it's totally useless unless you found someone will accept it to give you what he has. Money has a value because we agreed to make a value for it. This is called a Tinkerbell effect. Tinkerbell effect means that things are there because we believe so. And if we stop believing in its existence, it will not be there. And this is exactly money is. If all people start to agree that money has no value, it wouldn't have value at all. For sure, it was not this way from thousands of years. And when humans started to construct the concept of money, it was like products. There are many things were used as money. The only condition here is that these things is usable and useful, such as spices, salt, animals, or weapons. Also, we used metals such as silver, gold, and iron, which technically has no real value, but due to their rarely existence in the earth. After this era, money has invented. As carrying animals or even gold products was so hard, the existence of money was globally needed. Simply, you will give your gold to the bank and keep it safe for you. And they will give you a document from the bank for the total amount of what you have in their safes. This document can be used as money because anyone has this document can go to the bank again and replace it with the amount of gold which is mentioned in the document anytime. Today's countries use fiat money. Fiat money needs trust in the state which issued the currency. We can use United States as an example to walk through for different monetary systems journey. In 1792, United States stopped using British and European money. Instead of that, they issued US dollars. The United States dollar could be considered as a product money. These coins have coined from silver, gold, and copper. The value of these coins came from the original value of what it really contained from their metals. In 1900, United States had decided to use gold as a reference to issue the US dollar, which means it used gold as a standard to issue more US dollars. If it has stored more gold, it can issue more fiat US dollar. United States government issued dollar bills which could exchange with gold anytime. That was the second type of monetary system the United States government used in the fiscal system. This method was followed by most of countries to determine the real value of its money. Simply, if the gram of gold cost $1 in the United States and 1 gram cost 2 British pounds in the United Kingdom, that means that $1 equal to 2 British pounds. Golden coins have been removed from the American monetary system, which ending the era of product money. In 1971, Nixon officially stopped using the gold standard and started to issue more fiat US dollars regarding to the economical position of the country. And by the way, this decision creates a serious conflict with France. Thus, money these days does not follow the gold standard anymore. From this day on, money value is determined by the law of supply and demand. If there is an increase in the demand with a constant supply, it means that the value of the product will increase, and vice versa. So, if there is more money in the economy systems, it means lower value for the US dollar, which means also with the same US dollar you will buy lower quantities of products, which means price increases. Supply and demand curve show how the prices get more higher with the higher demand. More money in the economy creates shifts in the demand curve for products and services prices. This shifting is not supported by economical increases. So, again, the prices will go up. Theoretically, the government will issue more money in the economy. So, the demand will increase without a real change in the supply. We can take product as an example. Let's imagine a village has 100 villagers. These villagers can only plant orange. So orange is the money of the village. The amount of orange which owned by villager is depending on how many fields of oranges do one villager have. An apple seller came to the village and started to sell one apple for one orange. All villagers now can buy apples with their oranges. In a good year, villagers' lands give the villagers 4 times of half the harvest. Now, villagers are able to buy more apples. The apple seller noted that there is a high demand for his apples. He raised the prices as one apple will be sold for 2 oranges. The number of apples cannot support the high demand of the villagers. Then, our apple seller raised the prices again as 1 apple for 3 oranges. The apple seller will continue raising the apple prices till he feels equilibrium to gain as much as he can from oranges. In this story, orange gained lower purchasing value because it exists in a huge amount and became more and more cheaper without changing in apple supply. This is inflation. That's why countries do not issue a lot of money in their economical systems to remain the money value. We have many cases in which countries kept issuing money without support from the economical system. Zimbabwe, which in 2008 suffered extremely from high inflation due to issuing more and more money. Robert Mugabe, president of Zimbabwe, decided in a bad way to issue more money to cover the economical deficit and to pay the governmental wages. This caused inflation. With this number on the screen, I cannot even count the number of zeros. To provide some numbering sense, you should know that the inflation of the United States these days after 2 main bad events, coronavirus and Ukrainian conflicts, is 8.2%, which you consider as a huge number for the United States, and it has about 2% of the inflation rate as normal. High-performance economical countries have from 1 to 5% inflation rate. If the inflation in any country exceeded 50%, it's called hyperinflation. The price in Zimbabwe got doubled every 24 hours. The government tried to solve the problem with printing more money. People started to carry huge bags of Zimbabwean dollars just to get bread peace. The Zimbabwean government prevented people from raising prices and started to arrest them for that. All goods have disappeared from markets, and to find your normal meals, you must go to the black markets. Do you imagine the situation for gas and water? The Zimbabwean dollar had been stopped. Until now, they do not have a national currency, and they are using the US dollar as currency. Before this madness, the Zimbabwean dollar was equal to 1.26 US dollar. Before exploring another example, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends to help us to continue these episodes which on the stairs. Another example for one of the worst inflation cases in the history, Hungary, 1946. World War II had a devastating effect on Hungary's economy, leaving half of its industrial capacity destroyed and its infrastructure in shambles. The reduction in productive capacity arguably created a supply shock. that combined with a stable stock of money sparked the beginning of Hungary's hyperinflation. Rather than try to dampen the inflation by reducing the money supply and increasing the interest rates, policies that would have weighted down the already depressed economy, the government decided to channel new money through the banking sector towards entrepreneurial activities. The hope was that would help to restore productive capacity, infrastructure, and economic activities. Time required for prices to be doubled is 15 hours. Equivalent daily inflation rate was 207%. Highest monthly inflation rate was 4.19 times 10 power 16%. In 1941, the exchange rate was about 5 bengus to $1. Hungary then switched to foreignet, where 1 foreignet equal to 400 octillion bengus. That number has 29 zeros, as you see. All these examples just to show the harmful effect of printing more money without real support from the economical system and the production lines. We have a good question here. What was forcing Zimbabwe and Hungary to print more money? Simply, it's called national debt. National debt is more complex than personal debt. We can define national debt as the total amount of money which a country government has borrowed. The highest national debt in the world is the United States debt, with about 24 trillion USD till this moment. Most debts are held externally in the hand of Japan and China. Though it's true, but it may be misleading factor. Most of the debt is actually owned by the United States government itself, but by organizations such as Social Security and the Federal Reserve. Japan and China hold about 9% of the United States national debts. That's why they are doing their best to keep the US dollar at high value than their currencies. Why misleading factor? Because Japan and China cannot jump to the US airports and ask them to pay the debts now. It doesn't handle like that. Basically, the United States issue something called treasury bonds. These bonds have the highest interest rates and anyone can invest on it. United States Constitution forces the government to buy the bond again with the interest. And for your information, this investment comes with low risk because the wide range of the US dollar usage. Now, you know well why countries cannot print and issue more money and pump it into their economical system. And I have a good quote here: money often costs too much, by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Many thanks for watching our video and welcome to our stairs.